Oh, we did it. We are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Art First. How's it going, Bryan?
Hey, Adam. It's going well. Happy Friday. It's a fun week. Like Coinbase is broken, OpenSea's broken. I think that means things are good, right?
That's the sign that everything is working the way it should. If everything worked the way it was supposed to, I don't know where we'd be. That's not crypto.
Yeah. But I think, since we talked last, I feel like we're seeing a lot of these random projects take off. Things are heating up a little bit. Volume's up, and I think sentiment is up as well. And I think part of that is thanks to our guest who had a very successful drop that I'm excited to talk about.
Definitely. Yeah. You're right. Sentiment does seem a little bit more up. Some of these bigger long-term projects that have been coming out, things that have like really kind of like bolstered the foundations of the space to feel, might no shade to foundation. But yeah, no, we've got a good one today. I'm really excited because our guest makes some really magical stuff, and I have no idea how he does it. I've seen some little behind the scenes here and there, but nothing like getting it right from the artist himself. Let's go ahead and welcome flower and bird enthusiast and all around amazing artist Jules to the show. Hello.
Hey guys.
I mean, flower and bird, that just shows your evolution over time, because I think when you first came out, I considered you more of like the glitch guy.
And we're going to go into there too.
Yeah. And so that just shows, you haven't been bird pun pigeonholed into a specific thing yet.
You say pigeonholed?
Something
we're going to see how many, like, anyone watching can do a little game anytime we throw a bird or flower reference in. But
the
man,
easy for sure.
Dude, start off with a congrats, right? You just, a week ago, you just launched your birds project, which is gorgeous. Even if no one knows anything about it, it's just beautiful. And yeah, man, you've been doing this for a while now, and like I think, like Bryan was saying, the evolution has been really cool to see, from glitch to flowers to birds. But I think at its core, it's a more of a message of observing the world around us and beauty and deliberate moves. That's how it feels, at least for the outside looking in.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind words. It means a lot from artists I respect, and yeah, I'm really stoked to hear that. It's nice. It's nice to feel that stuff seen, and I'm stoked to be here too. I never really shy away from these things, but you guys do such a good job, and every artist that leaves these shows with you guys is like always glowing and diving into the process. Anyway, so stoked to be here. Thank you for the kind words. Birds is just getting started. Long way to go.
Yeah, well, and I think even before your art journey, even though I know you've been an artist, I think I first met you when you were kind of behind the scenes working for platforms and stuff. And so you've had this interesting perspective where you've seen a bit of like how the soup is made, and took that and put it into your mechanics and theories. And it's really cool to see how you keep pushing both the tech forward and the mechanics forward.
Thank you. Yeah, like lots of laps. It. Like as a working artist, you just try to find spots to fit in, and each one of those laps you pick something up, and if it serves you, you can put it into your practice. And I've got some good laps.
Yeah, for sure.
The tree.
I mean, I think to your point, Bryan, it helps that knowing so much of like the back end for how this stuff works allows you to think beyond just the canvas and go into the code and figure out reactive things. Because I know that the flowers project, right, that you started is reactive based on the market, based on Ethereum's price actions, right? So like just from the jump, having your work feels, even though it's very ephemeral, it feels even more tied into the tech without being overly tech. It like uses the tech to its advantage, versus like I know Bryan, we always talk about is that, digital art, or why would you put it in a frame if you could just like have a print that looks better, versus digitally native work that works better because it uses the network, or it uses the tech. So what's sort of like drives that part of you to incorporate both of those things?
I mean, it started from flowers for sure. I really believe in provenance and, digital ownership, and being able to kind of see that through time on this world ledger, this world computer. And that was really so much buy-in for me and for so many people in 2020, 2021. But I thought there was something else there. I thought that this layer could be used as a medium, and had seen some examples where it was done, and wanted to make something true of the medium, not just this kind of based off this belief system. And so it was just really being curious enough to go down these rabbit holes. And I'm not a developer by any means, but like any good idea guy, I can find a good developer. And so there was a lot of that in flowers. I had connected with a lifelong friend now, actually just via Upwork, and kind of cold calling Solidity devs, which wasn't an easy thing to come by. And, have since worked together for years. He's a great guy. But yeah, I mean, I think just being curious, and then thinking about how to use it in a way where it was really for the medium, for, Ethereum.
Yeah, I think how important is collaboration for you? Because it does seem like that's like, some artists shy away from that, and if I didn't make that, is that really mine? Versus like, crafting something that's bigger than what you could do on your own.
Huge. I mean, I think like everything's so collaborative. Even an artist that has a solo practice is pulling from references everywhere. Like, it's kind of just how you view that scope of collaboration. But I can't do everything well. I'm okay at a lot of things, but there are people that are great at things. And if those people believe in your ideas and want to contribute, be a fool to not, welcome that with open arms. Right. So that's true of flowers. That's been true of birds. That's true of everything altogether. Like, I've had, a lot of great folks contribute to the work.
I would say, I mean, you talked about digitally native. I feel like almost all of your work starts in a physical form in some way, where you're photographing a flower, or videotaping people dancing, or doing these other elements. Do you usually approach it from a physical first standpoint?
It's like going back to just those laps. Like, we have a common friend, Justin Mahler, who's one of the greatest 3D artists of all time, in my opinion. And he's been a huge influence on me for our long friendship. Like, we've been friends for like 15, 16 years. Wow. But I was reluctant to learn 3D. And so like my path, and this is, even as a freelancer. And so my path was like, well, instead of making the 3D record simulation, like, I'll just, smash up this record player and film it and comp this thing together. Or like, instead of, building out this scene with this disco ball, I'll hunt the park and hang the disco ball. And so it was like a reluctance to learn something that ended up making me capture raw material. And I loved that process. I loved figuring those things out and problem solving that way. It was fun. And so that kind of weakness, at some point I said, this is my strength. Like, I like to make these things this way. I like to feel and touch things and put that data, that energy into the work before it becomes digital. And I think there's something interesting in doing that, always knowing that the intent is digital final, right? So yeah, again, it started from not knowing something and just figuring it out, much like finding that Solidity dev on Upwork.
Yeah. And finding, I mean, you're one of a few artists in the space that really utilize studio spaces to like produce work. Is that something that you had done prior to this journey?
Photo assistant for a long time, did music video production, talking head interviews. And there's something fun about being in a space in a studio and like energy. And I'm finding that more and more, like the more that I've kind of even found my voice, and like I'm inspired by the things around me or the places around me. And like, you get a certain energy there. And this, like you're going to draw differently doing something in your space than you will at the comedy club, live drawings that you will like.
Yep.
And so I like that. There's like a blank canvas feeling to an open room that is inviting.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and all of the stuff you're filming and shooting is on digital, right? It's not on film, right?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I definitely have tinkered in the 8mm.
It's still digitally native for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. This digital photography feels almost analog though. At this point now, it's analog.
I gotta ask. Okay, so recently I've become a bird watcher. Prior, I think it was the end of last year. Ned and Mary Pat turned me onto a documentary on YouTube, and I just went down the rabbit hole. And my wife and I now, are very aware of birds, and we're all, watching and observing. So this is really extra special to see, and I am super curious how much you want to tell us, but like about what am I looking at, right? Like what I see is I see a real bird, and I see a real environment, and I see the loops that I don't understand, and physics that I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like how are you able to do this? Like what's the process for this?
Mungie, make a bird project perfect, make no mistakes.
That's great. Collaboration works perfectly like that when you just ask someone to make a perfect piece.
It's a combination of everything, is the truth. Like it's physical staging and sculpture. It's sourcing the materials. It's taking these photographs. It's humanity's idea of a bird that's been, observed for as long as we've walked the earth and composited into, these specific scenes.
Elements questions because it's fascinating, right? Like I haven't seen anything like this before, and kudos to you for really just creating a beautiful aesthetic.
We can rip in under the hood of all of it. Like I'm excited to share the process. I won't do it as eloquently as Mungie will on the tech side of things and kind of how he's strung together this beautiful system to make these. But
you want to give everybody, all right, let's start with a very high level explanation of the Birds project, how it works, and then let's talk about what we're actually looking at here.
All right, Adam. Bryan, that's your cue.
Bryan, that's your cue. How does the Bird project work?
Oh. I can explain it. There's 5 habitats that are kind of like tanks in my mind, and then outside of those tanks you have 100 little bird pins, and every time a transaction is made via the observation aspect, which is an open edition snapshot, all the birds kind of swap around, and your bird might leave your home and go into this tank, or might go over to that tank, and at any point the on-off of whether the birds are in one or another is randomized, I assume. Is that an eloquent way of saying it?
That works. I think that works. Yeah, that's the birds is that. That's how it functions. The body of work is an examination of presence and absence, and this is kind of illustrated through this network of 100 birds. And each bird has a home where it spends much of its time, but sometimes that bird's away and we don't know where that bird is. It's just somewhere on Ethereum. But occasionally those birds can be seen at sanctuaries. And we have 5 sanctuaries now. Each sanctuary is an interactive installation that is open to the internet on Ethereum, where anyone can go and observe the presence of a bird. And by observing the presence of a bird, you influence the work, and all of the birds migrate and move places. And so kind of by observing presence, you make room for someone else to observe presence again. And that is the project and kind of how it works. And everything boils down to the observation of presence, from how we wanted to present the work, from how the work shows on the site, from some of the pain points of just trying to observe in the beginning to looking at the birds when nobody is and making it really easy to. There's this kind of give and take of just presence and absence throughout the work.
Amazing. Okay. So now I've got my head wrapped around that. I know that in the past you've photographed things, like flowers for the Flowers Project. And I know you use different elements, and you just talk about layering. Walk us through, like help us build out, what we're looking at on screen.
So every scene in this project was photograph that I made. And so all the flowers were sourced right here at the flower market in Los Angeles, same place that the flowers project was. The barbed wire was sourced from like old barns and clipped off of fences. And all of these scenes were photographed and staged. And then with Mungie, we've kind of built out this very, very intricate system that adds this form of a bird to these scenes. And then from there, there's, further down the pipeline, we generate images and videos of these birds in a way that can be played programmatically when you're watching them. And so really there are, in this entire project, there's, like 16 hours of bird footage, over 6,000 clips, and billions of possible outputs based off of interaction, right? You might be looking at a bird for a minute before you observe its presence and then it leaves, but that bird still has, 60, 70 seconds of action in it before it's looped again. And so the work is layered in that way and then kind of presented to be really a bird watching experience on Ethereum, this kind of living work that you can interact with and see and change and is unique to every viewer. Long-winded answer to your question. We can go.
No, I have a question.
Yeah.
So in these scenes, is it playing two separate elements? Is the bird in the foreground and the background separately, or did you combine them all?
These are together.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really get, sometimes you see the feathers go in front of and behind the barbed wire, and you get a lot of really nice little details. But to answer Adam's question, it's creating all the in and out possibilities, and create how many total clips would you say there are in the project?
There's probably 66,300 or so.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Every bird, every background, every in and out, and all the other.
You have these 100 characters, right, that have this character continuity across these, 6 places, their home and these 5 sanctuaries, and each one of those has a stack of their own content and footage that play again differently each time. And it's not like even when I do GIFs or loops, I'm always looking to kind of capture you for a long time, even if you can see the repetition. It's meant to be somewhat meditative and calming in a way. And so like, to me, there's this, we used to talk about this in the early parts of birds, like we've kind of cracked the infinite loop, the forever loop. Like you'll never see the same thing is the idea.
Are silly question maybe, but are the birds CG? Are the birds AI? Are the birds real? Are the birds meticulous puppets? What do you want to talk about? Because they look amazing.
There's so many ways to answer the question. So I think again, humanity's done the work here, right? Bird watching is like been around forever. We've always looked up and seen. I'm going to answer, Brian. I'm going to answer. He's like,
it's okay if you. This is the magician doesn't have to give all. So magician doesn't have to give away all the secrets. I'm just as someone who does things related. I'm just super curious.
There's no secrets. The truth is, like, we've observed birds forever, and because of that, and there's a culture on observing birds. Like, this is something that people do. They like to go out and bird, and so there's all of this data on birds, which means that all of the data models are trained really well on this substrate of a bird. And so, in one hand, I think of like Plato's rule of forms, like what is a bird? Think of a bird. And to me, this is humanity's form of a bird. This is what we think a bird looks like based off of all of our observations of birds. That said, so some of them are generated, right? Most of them are generated. But there's some birds in there that have been photographed and kind of, have become real throughout. So, and I won't say which ones. So it goes back to like, it's funny. I'm thinking of having like all of these iterations of talking about this, and Mungie, I'm like, well, what is real? Like what even is real? Like, there are 8,000 people that have, or 8,000 times someone has said, I have seen this bird at this time in this place, and like that's real. That makes this bird real, certainly to me. And the rabbit hole continues.
Well, let's go back into the process. 100 birds. How did you
100.
land on the coloring of them? Did you think of that as traits in a way that you like built out a color chart and you go, I need this many blue, I need this many pink? Or how did you go about that process of it?
That's a fun question, because it was like probably some of the final changes of the work. Like in the beginning, a lot of the birds were heavily prompted by me and Mungie, and we really added our voice to the birds. Like it was very much treating the birds as I treated flowers and giving them these kind of specific traits and colors that I found really interesting. Over the progression of making the work, really my voice is in the backgrounds. I'm just serving a scene for the birds to be. And we realized more and more that we liked and felt that the birds that didn't have our nuanced voice or characteristics felt better in the work. The birds that looked and felt more real than the ones that didn't were the ones that we kept gravitating to or felt timeless for us. And so over time, kind of stripped, our voice from the birds and let the birds just be that, humanity's idea of birds. Of course, with a little bit of nuance there, like some of our classics made it.
That's
But
a classic cardinal, right? Or is that
pretty classic?
It is.
But
Hitman's
go on, Adam.
No, I was just also recognizing, just on a technical level, you also have camera moves, right? And you have, or not moves so much as like blurs and adjustments and like rack focuses, and it's very impressive on so many levels, right? You take for granted all the things that make something look observable and real, and it feels very organic. So I just wanted to point that out, that's also, I would imagine that's also programmatic and randomized as far as adding a camera effect like that.
Some of it, right? But I think, a lot of it's influenced by that an image is worth 1,000 words, right? And so that basic image is a heavy prompt into the work. And it informs everything downstream of that, whether how the camera moves, how the birds land in there, which is fun, right? For a long time, I was taking these images and framing these kind of perfect images. And it took a long time to remind myself that I was framing for this thing that wasn't there yet, for this empty space, for this bird to come. And again, so just, iterations down the line that kind of led there to say, hey, let's add lots of depth of field. Let's make sure that we can zoom in and out. Hey, what if we went under this barbed wire? How can these things move? And, it almost feels like we just figured it out, is the truth. So
that's a cool one. I hadn't seen that one. At what point in the process did you name them? Was that before they were made or after?
I think that's Sorbet, collected by Blondie. We named them throughout. And then at the end kind of went through and did another final naming, but they're yours to name. If you hold a bird home, you can change the name of the bird on the app. And
really?
Yeah. It was like one of the things that we thought was, even when you adopt a pet, right? You change the name, like it becomes yours. And we named a lot of them after just like people we love in the process of making them, in hopes that people would kind of carry that on. If anyone can name anything, I'm sure we'll get the memetics of, the crypto dick butts, and that's great. That's a reflection of us.
There's no censorship.
No. You can name it. Your home to name.
That's the first thing, Brian.
I like that. Sorbet has a silver beak. Is that a one-off?
Sorbet's a looker. Sometimes you get that silver just with the light reflection. Kind of
that's
when
cool.
It's looking around.
So there's no bird here. Does that mean, what does that mean? Where is the bird?
So I think if you actually hit that bird, it'll tell you the state where it is. We see that it's away. So unknown. It's kind of this away state.
Okay.
Where birds can be, where stories can maybe continue to be told. But it's not home, and it's not at a sanctuary. It's on an
It's on an adventure. I love that. And when you're saying things were photographed, like the barbed wire and the flowers, obviously I can see that they're moving. Is that a result of generation, or is that a result of filming, like video footage of these things? Or I would guess it's probably based on the real generative, but based on the real.
Based on
reality still.
Yeah, no, based on the real stills is like, I think that's one of the really, that's incredible. Right?
That's
like
cool.
that's what brings
with it.
these things home. and gives them a sense of
yeah, we used AI as a tool here, right? Like this would have been impossible to do even 5 years ago, 10 years. This would have been, such
even
a
2 years ago. My God. Yeah.
And so we were able to do something that, maybe a 20-person team and a $15 million studio could have done, but like we're able to do, and it's still a lot of compute, a lot of generations.
It looks incredible.
It does.
Yeah.
There's no shame in using current tools.
No. Well, it goes even back to like, why I've tried to use AI in my practice for a long time. I mean, I was a full-time employee at DeviantArt. Like I've been, I've had a good view of AI, and finding why it works and how it works in my practice has been a process. And birds is nice because, again, they're so real. They're so grounded in this reality. And so is my work. I like to light the thing on fire and roll down the stairs and kind of do these things. And so it was, again, the subject matter, the concept, and like the depth of the work and the scale of it required this as a tool. And I think it's a great, example of how to use AI to expand your practice in a really cool way. Look at that guy. Anyway,
they're so good, and I think this is one of those things where, like you said, using AI as a tool and not just make me a whole thing, right? There's the human element is still very much present in terms of like a crafted vision. But when I look at these guys, right, it does what CG still can't do, which is it looks photoreal. I mean, to the point where I can see every feather on this. It looks like an HD video that was, shot with, on a wild, nature preserve. Like it's just, no matter how good the 3D is, you always look and see some, 3D. But if you really wanted real birds to do this stuff, but this is the answer. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's fun. I like to hear that, and even if it's just enough to make you stop and question it, the work is great. We did the work.
I got one more process question.
Just one?
When it comes to these birds, you're directing these birds essentially with words, telling it what to do. Did you have to learn a lot of like bird talk? Like, what's the word for when they like dig at their feathers and stuff like that? Did you have to like? Did you have to do that, or how did you direct these birds?
Like you said, like it's learning a little bit of their natural tendencies. It's giving them, our kind of own behaviors. And again, I have to credit Mungie here, who is not just the LLM whisperer, but is also a great bird whisperer and has a long history, training crows and building bird homes
Cool.
Into birds as just about anybody. And so he came with that kind of depth of knowledge and helped meet us there. But yeah, you get to learn. And, Listers was a big jumping off point too. I think kind of everywhere you look, you can see these really passionate either projects or people around this. And that's just like, it just keeps you going, right? It's really fun when you find something like that, where you just keep getting these confirmations that this is a good path. And, Listers was huge for us.
Yeah, Listers being a documentary up on YouTube for anyone to check out, and absolutely worth watching. I was not, I had a bird as a kid, as a pet, and I've always loved birds, but I wasn't a bird watcher. But after seeing the movie, the documentary, I was like, you know what? This is it. This is fun. This is what I want to do. Maybe not to that degree, but just a casual. I'm going to pay attention now. I'm going to get an app. I'm going to figure out what bird I just saw. And it's like catching Pokemon.
Totally. And those are great artists as well, right? They're not just bird watchers. And I'm sure you guys can appreciate all the detail that goes into some of those illustrations, and you can support those guys too. Watch the documentary, you can get the book, but like they killed it. It's such a good, they really kind of capture it. And there's some great bird projects, right? And it was, I think of like birds aren't real. And when was that? Like this guy campaigning, really kind of playing into media and misinformation and how to spread it and kind of rally people around this idea that birds aren't real. Listers, there's so many, and hopefully we can get birds up there too over time.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Well, speaking of watching birds, we didn't dive into it too much, but there's an observation aspect of this that even though the main project has sold out, congratulations, anybody can go and observe and mint these moments for what, $1? It's like really affordable. And I've seen some people like make giant sets of them.
Really, like not to take from sanctuaries and homes, but like the observations is the project. I think we want people to observe presence. I think it's crucial to the work, right? It powers the network, it changes it, and yeah, it's $1 and ETH transaction. It's definitely, like, for me, it's really exciting because this is my best work, and like you can go out and collect 10, a grid of it, like a triptych for $3, $5, and I like that as from a collector path. I also like this for again. I talked to my mom today, and she's like, "Well, how can I collect a bird?" I'm like, "Well, the homes are, I don't even have one." And it's like, "But I can set you up with a wallet. I'll get you $10, and you can go and have And it's really important to me. I want to do that. I want to start people's Ethereum journey in a way, and I'm excited to kind of hopefully bring people in that might just want some beautiful birds. So observations is we got a long way to go until that mints out.
Oh, so that there is a finite amount of observations that can be made.
It's in the contract, yeah. Okay. But after a million observations,
okay.
Project, yeah.
And so each one is essentially a snapshot. Is that
you get basically it's like an 8-second video, perfect loop of that bird in that moment that you saw it, and they're ERC 1155, so they're a token, and it is a fun way to collect. Right now you're just watching this change, and that's because somebody has participated with the work. Someone, and it might have been you. I didn't see if you observed, but someone has observed the presence of this bird, and it changes its state, and you've collected this snapshot. It's so fun to even see it here live on stream.
That's really special, man. That's awesome.
It's been fun to talk about it.
Super inspiring work, man.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks.
It's definitely the kind of stuff that you look and you go, okay, how can I push what I'm doing even further?
I get this from everybody here, right? We're so lucky. Like
we really are.
Like, Adam, I love what you did with the kind of commission piece where you could book a one-of-one and have this like really intimate commission. Like, that's an influence to me. Like, Bryan, what you're doing with Brinkworks and kind of pushing all this HTML work, like how you're presenting work online. You can see both those influences right here and how the work is presented to people privately, and even in these intimate scenarios, and how we're presenting the work so I love that about this space. There's so much all around us. It's why I'm sure that we're all going to make it. All the talent is in the room with us, right? There's so many talented people here pushing and doing things, and like, what a time to be alive, really, and creating. So kudos to you guys.
Couldn't agree more, man. And honestly, that's a good way. That's a nice little segue into where we can go from here. Because speaking of being inspired by all the amazing artists out there, there's always artists that could use a bigger lift, or just projects in general that deserve a little bit more of a spotlight. So, how about we do a little show and tell?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay, Bryan, tell me, am I back? Did it work? Am I here?
You sound great.
Okay. Oh, there we go. We lost Jules.
All right. Big Jules.
This is the part of the show where each of us has brought 3 pieces of art that we think are really. Did I cut out?
No, but you hesitated on that 3.
These. It's been like 2 weeks since I did one of these. Give me a moment.
Yeah,
all right. I've only done 56 of them before this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through it. We each brought a piece of work we either collected or just think is really awesome, and we're gonna just spotlight that at the end of the show on our Art First Twitter account. We have a recap that'll have all the art we've seen today, plus all the artists, and you can give them all some love. And if there's pieces available, you can scoop them. All right, Jules, we're gonna start here with you, and let me pull this guy up here. Come on. Maybe. There we go.
Yep.
All right.
Scroll down a little bit.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Here it is. Go.
Oh, I can already tell who this is.
Oh, yeah. You can spot it a mile away.
We have all probably a shared love for Bananakin.
Bananakin is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. He's such a talent. Man, I love this guy. Actually, Mungie put me on. Credit to Mungie. I got to give him credit. He put me on to Bananakin, and I got super into him. I think that, such a unique voice, so much like energy in his work, and free and loose, but like you can see the talent and the reps that he's put in. Yeah, Bananakin is it. Like he's that guy for me for sure.
Yeah, and he's been doing dailies for years.
Yeah.
And his aesthetic, like you said, you can spot this a mile away, and it's just like the energy that is in every piece of his is so infectious. What I love about them in this piece especially is that when you do a rough drawing as an artist of anything, it's got the most life in it usually, and then when you have to like clean it up, if you're gonna paint it or if you're gonna use it for animation, it loses inevitably some of that life. And he very much keeps all the life in, every little imperfection, every little like purposeful, like, extra twitch, every, even in 3D, like, the things look sketchy in a good way, right? Like it still feels loose. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's because he's doing it in VR. He's hand painting it in VR.
That's right.
And it makes it so human. And even though it's so cartoony, and like that is such a nice spot for the work to meet. Yeah, it's cool. I was actually thinking about that before this. I was thinking about the 3 pieces that I added, and I was like, just generally speaking, like I find myself drawn to work that has this roughness or this rawness to it, which is interesting because mine is not. Like it starts in a rough place, but it gets chipped and refined. But when I gravitate towards something, it's like this energy, this moment, like Bananakin's work is, peak example of that.
Was this a commission?
It was, yeah.
I feel like you've been a real trailblazer in that sense, where I'm seeing a lot of other artists start to do it now, is like reach out and get commissioned work from other artists versus
That's really cool
stuff up. It's really cool.
I love it. Like it's my sweet spot. I'm not a big collector, but like either a commission with like something fun or someone who's like doing something that, at least from my view, is like a step towards something that's not there yet, but like that step, that's where I want to like slide in and support. It's like, oh, you tried something a little bit different here. I think there's something to it. Like, that's like, and sometimes that's a commission of just throwing, he killed this. It's so good.
I love it. It's really good.
All right. I'm going to throw this on there, see if this works. Here we go. That's some good stuff.
Oh, that's definitely good stuff.
Yeah. All right, Bryan, you are up next, sir.
What did I submit?
What did you pick? Let's go with this piece here.
Yeah, this is a piece I collected by Number One Crush. An artist that I feel like I got started with his dogs with grills and toads, and now I've moved into this new kind of style he's been pushing for this One of One series that I think is a nice evolution of his work that is equally grotesque and wild and weird, but feels like he's, like Jules was saying, he's taking a leap forward creatively. And he's just, I feel like he's one of the artists to watch this year.
He's cool. I got some of the dogs that he did. Those kind of like, they look like those sculptures. All I missed the toads, and I've kind of just been in cope ever since. Like I know how it is. In something, you collected someone, and then you missed the thing that was like maybe the thing.
I get it.
Dude, Lynette posted the other day her toad, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't have one either, and I'm feeling it."
And it was my fault, right? Like there was information there to get one, but this is super cool. It just makes me think back of like the commission I did with Rebecca Rose. It's got like this. What are those called? Those dioramas where used to make a shoebox.
Shadow boxes or dioramas. Yeah,
it's cool.
Very cool.
There's a term for it, multiplane, or I forget.
Multiplanar animation.
Yeah, but yeah,
it has.
Rebecca's a different process of building them like sculptures, and this one is probably a mix of like, I assume it's made with a few different image generations and using AI to create the moves between them.
Yeah, but you could see his world, like it's his dogs and stuff. He's got his things, his voices for sure in all of his work, which is cool. Nice pickup.
Very cool,
Thanks,
man.
dude.
Very cool. All right. We're going to keep it moving. All right.
This is awesome. This part. This is the greatest. This talking about these other artists and like riffing on this. It's so cool that you guys do this.
Dude, it is so much fun. It is one of my favorite parts of this is that, and sometimes we'll get stuck and hung up and like, it's not good radio, but we'll just stare at a piece. And then
That's the part that I can't prepare for since I don't know what I'm going to get shown. So
exactly.
It's more fun in that way.
All right, here we go. Here's a piece that I picked up the other day on Object.
And
some
like cells.
Yeah, so it's acrylic on cardboard and scanned in. It was an edition of 4. World Within.
Nice.
Sahara Coco. I just stumbled upon it, and I love texture and I love little details. And it's so funny, like Jules, you were saying, your work is one way and it's the opposite aesthetic that you were looking at and drawn to. I love lots of loud colors, but like I also like minimalism, and this is not, and I just adore it. I look at all these, I get lost in these. It was an easy pickup. I think there's maybe 2 editions left.
Nice.
But it was, and then they were kind enough to share some of the other work that they've been doing, and it's larger scale and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh.
I like how some parts, like right here, you see the line continue from one to the next. I feel like my eye is just drawn to like, where do these connect throughout it?
That's a good observation. It also, the colors are all really complementary and really nice, and they flow. And even though there's so many different colors, the shades.
Is it that green is crazy? Like to pull that green off is crazy. That's a crazy that's a hard thing to do. And it totally works here in such a great way.
It does, right? Like it's not too loud.
Yeah.
And it
palettes is pretty rad.
Look at that. I don't know. That was instant, like fell in love with this and saw there was only, 4 of them. And I was like, yep, well, that's easy.
Yeah. Super
fun. Good find. I need to look at Object more often. I haven't looked there in a minute.
Honestly, when I do these shows, right, I used to go to Foundation. I used to go to Rodeo to find some new work, and literally can't go to either of them now. And I was like, where can I go to find new work? And I was like, you know what? I always forget going to Object. And once I was in there, I just took some time, and there's so many gems to be found. And it was on,
it's great to collect, right? It goes back to this really fun, easy experience of just like, yeah, I'm sure this was really, really affordable piece too, which is awesome.
It was US dollars, about $10.
Awesome.
And I was excited, and I shared it with, I shared it on the timeline because, again, just genuinely excited. I was like, you know what? And, I'm not going to lie. I do like that it was, it feels physical because it was a physical piece that was made. Like I love the brushwork and just seeing the details. All right, Jules, we're back to you, my friend. We have a couple more to go. Let's go with this piece here. Is Ghost Holy Holy by Love Being. And let's see if I can zoom out a little bit so we can see it. There we go.
God, you got to hear this one. I mean, it's hard. It's same with the
so,
and the breeze, but
yeah, people are going to have to
on your own listen.
They're not going to be able to hear it here, but I encourage people to go check it out. It is intense. It's as intense as what you're seeing.
But I don't know. Do you guys know Love Being? Surely you know Love Being. The artist?
I'm not very familiar.
Yes, I was not familiar.
What a treat. Okay. Gianni is like, again, I think it's true of Bananakin. I think it's true of the other artists that I think there are people that have, that create with like, they have this energy inside of them. And then like the meeting point to the canvas or to the output is like this close. Like it's just right there. Like Adam might say it's true of your work too. Like you kind of can feel this thing happening. That is Gianni for me. He is just so prolific in that way.
Awesome.
And I don't know, I guess he's kind of become a little bit of a cult classic in my little crypto art collecting sphere, at least. I have this one. I think I collected this one too.
This is great.
So talented, so just a very pure creator, and I think it's just a fun body of work to dive into. Yeah, really, really interesting guy too.
Yeah, really diverse.
Yeah, super. You got to go on a Love Bean quest for sure. Like his work is crazy. He's done so much interesting stuff, and he's just kind of a full embodiment of his work in real life too. It's really, really talented artist.
This is great. Wow. Yep. I'm gonna go on a little journey.
Music for that, and it was like the one that got away for some time. He had a piece that was similar to it, and I didn't get it. And so when I saw that, I was like, it's right there. It's close enough. I gotta jump in.
Whoa.
Well, your wallet's always one I peek at occasionally because you have awesome taste. So
it means a lot. Thank you.
Going on there, going for it. Good stuff, man.
That's wild.
Truth be told, they all deserve it, and I just happen to remember to do it sometimes. Amazing, dude. Thank you. Good share. Bryan, let's move on to another one of your picks.
What did I pick?
I'm gonna go Infinity Machine by ADHD.
Oh yeah. I forget why I went down this rabbit. Oh, I think there was something that sold of mine on the Click Create contract. And so I went and looked at the Click Create contract, and there's some gems that are sitting on the floor of that are very affordable. And ADHD is one of the nicest guys in the space. Amazing, talented artist, also very talented musician who I think is reuniting with his band this summer and playing some shows.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh man, that's a no-brainer. I don't have nearly enough ADHD artwork or Space Case, I think.
Space Case,
I
yeah.
forget which way he goes by. He's
so
awesome.
cool. I got to do the artist in residency with him for AOTM.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of his work is like, you can feel the energy that I'm talking like that same thing, and it feels like raw, but I know how much intention in every single layer, all of these, like everything is placed so meticulously, and still has this really, really talented guy and a big sweetheart too. I think a bit of an empath and feels things deeply, and you can feel it in his work for sure.
Yeah. And I have a bunch of his zines, and you get to kind of see a lot of that process in there as well. But yeah, the stuff he did with that residency, that was more like animated. That was some crazy work he did for that.
He did the animation stuff, I think, after. I think that was that was more recent. Well, I don't know.
Oh, really? I thought there was this cylinder thing.
Yeah. He did play with some animations. I know that. But yeah, his work is killer. Super sweet guy. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. So this is just a reminder that there's a lot of really great artwork sitting in some of these collections, whether it's 6529 or Click Create or the Noble Gallery. I know a lot of people are starting to go back and look for art right now. And I think there's some really great kind of artist curated collections from the last 5 years that will hold up really well over time. This is one of them.
I mean, this is the time to do it, right? When things are more quiet. And
was this Click Create or Noble? I forget.
Click Create. Yeah.
Shout out NorCal and Clutch.
Those guys are great curators.
Very
and good
cool.
people. And you know what? NorCal makes a hell of a biscuit.
He does.
Still have yet to have one of the biscuits, but it's on my bucket.
You can never have just one. They're tiny.
I mean,
like
I'll
potato
be
chips.
happy to just have one if I can. Get a biscuit.
Sweet, Adam. Just a bite. Hey, I'll settle for half of one. Let me get a.
I just want a piece of the biscuit, guys.
Let me just smell them from outside.
If I could just be in a room with a biscuit.
Let me just smell the oven cooking. Yeah. Man, we did a biscuits brunch in New York, and he hand rolls all those biscuits. Talk about an artist. He does it all.
Yep.
had to do it. You know, I was at a friend's restaurant. I was like, oh, we can get help. He's like, no, we gotta be the ones to roll them. I was like, I respect it, man. Let's roll them up.
It was amazing.
That was a fun event.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was the one in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
And what's his name? DJ. He did awesome.
Oh, Carbon.
Carbon, yeah.
That was a fun, right? Like I like that. That was a fun hang.
Yeah.
Very cool, guys.
Beautiful day for it too.
All right.
Sweet.
Let's
All right,
keep
what you got,
rolling down.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
It is good stuff. You know what? It is good stuff. All right. Here we go. Here's a piece I did not collect, but think was really cool. And I was not familiar with the artist, VLDZ. This was just really, I liked it. A Hard Night's Day. There was something about the texture really got me, and then the overall image. But I don't know. There was, it stopped me in my tracks, and when work does that, I sit with it for a bit, and I'm going to share it out because it's really good.
Yeah,
Sinister.
Very cool colors.
The palette's so cool, so beautiful. There's something, yeah. She's got a little devil horn on the back of her head. Is that?
I think
is it a
that might
devil
be
horn, or
ears.
is it an ear? It might be an elf ear. But this,
I like
this
that.
kinda
That's like he's this very stark orange colors that aren't there, but he's got the green and the yellow from the right side in him.
yeah.
Which kind of brings it all together nicely.
It's always cool. Like I think, paintings, like a black canvas where you kind of pull the image out versus push the image in. And I feel that here for sure.
And also,
a good velvet painting.
Yeah,
I love a good painting with negative space. That isn't afraid to just not fill the frame.
it's hard
and let it breathe. It is hard, right? It is.
It's got that dither effect on it. Gives it that real crunchy texture.
It does feel like if this was printed on like a velvet canvas, that'd be nice.
It's cool. It's like one of my favorite artists is this guy Wes Lang, and he just did a series called the Black Paintings, and not similar subject matter, but kind of pulls these images out of black and has kind of these. And for whatever reason, it brought me there, which is always nice. It was a good.
Very cool. All right. Let's see. We have one more for each of us. All right, Jules, you are up. This is pretty cool. You turned me onto this artist I was not familiar, Coulter James, LA. I don't know if I went looking. I couldn't find the title for this piece, if there is a title, but it's a really cool piece. Tell us all about what we're looking at.
I think I called it like Panther or something. It's written on a piece of paper somewhere.
Do you own this one?
I do. It's so cool.
Physical.
Okay. Yeah, no, this artist's not on Twitter,
nice.
but they're on Instagram. We'll have it linked up.
I mean, I could glaze Coulter for a lot of reasons. He's one of my favorite artists as of recent. I think not just in his work, but how he's kind of made it on his own terms. I am really drawn to. He's got a really interesting story. He works at LADWP, so Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, and he's been making work forever, and has really just recently kind of found success in more of the art world, and still is very accessible to guys on Instagram that DM him because they love his work. And it's Los Angeles, it's tattoo inspired, but it does has his unique voice in a way that's really, really special. And again, I think his palettes and colors are just great. So this was he had a solo show at Long Beach Museum of Art recently, and beautiful, huge paintings, and really worth the deep dive there. And then he had these series of maybe 100 illustrations, and this was one of them. And I was like, I need to have it. A lot of them had like dates and places on it, and so I kind of wanted the timeless one. And it gets cooler because at least for me, he came by to drop them off, and like we got to sit and chat, and it kind of just made me like, it's cool. Like it was just a cool experience to sit there and, him giving me the paintings in hand, and like just to have this kind of authentic conversation. And you often hear this, right? Like some of the things that collectors love about our space is how accessible artists are and that you get to have these conversations. And so it made me feel like, oh, it's cool if I can make someone feel like that. Like this person made me feel really nice. And like, it's interesting if I can make someone feel the same. But anyway, so love Coulter Jacobs, super talented artist, super nice guy too. And yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see the tattoo inspiration on like the eagle and the tiger, but then the other parts didn't feel like tattoos at all. It's a really fun juxtaposition.
Yeah, like the fruit and stuff, that's like a personal nod for him. And, you know, but yeah, like really.
Your Instagram's weird. What's
I
going
just
on
noticed
there?
with all best intentions, right? I'm like, ooh, let's show more of his work, and then thank you.
Somehow makes it smaller.
Somehow makes it even worse when I zoom in. This is fun.
There you go.
We are having fun.
But, you know, like just another way to do stuff, right? Like, you know, he just shares his work online and on Instagram. People hit him up, and you know, there's just. I think I really like that too. But yeah, definitely, book is a deep dive for sure.
Really cool.
Yeah, I was looking.
It's like, you know, be my dream is to get him to do, or someone like him to do a flowers.
Ooh, oh yeah.
Like that's kind of like, I feel like that would be so I'm throwing that out in the universe. Coulter.
Yeah. We didn't even get to touch on the whole collaborative aspect of flowers, which I think is brilliant on its own. But I'm sure you've talked about that elsewhere.
Let's run it back. This is the best place to talk about stuff.
Dude.
Next time you have the next round of it, we'll have you on to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do a 3 or 4 hour Nice Day Jules episode. Dude, this is great. All right, so what do we got? Two more.
Wait,
Okay.
good stuff. Give it a good stuff. I don't know if it's
Good stuff.
but
It
like
is.
Everything's good stuff.
It's a double. It's a double good stuff. Double good stuffed.
All
Very
right.
cool, man. All
So
right.
I threw a
Brian.
curveball in my third one.
Here's your curveball, sir.
This is Artificial After All by Han. I collected one of these a week or two ago. It's one of those projects that I'm going to probably butcher it if I try to explain it. But basically what he did is this is all on chain. And he was able to figure out a way to, when you mint the NFT, I forget the ERC type, but it's a special type that's not supported on OpenSea, which is why you can only buy it through this custom marketplace that he had to build around the project. But when you mint it, it mints the AI LLM into the contract. And so these anime faces are generated at the point of mint with a self-contained LLM, self-contained marketplace built into the NFT. And so, you know, Han's always been doing crazy stuff with crypto cubes and stuff, but in the past year or two, he's gotten really into these like self-contained NFTs that have the marketplaces built within them. And this is like, he was doing those with one-of-ones. This is the first time he's kind of expanded it into a collection that I've seen. And it's just I think all the green ones are ones that are listed. And so he basically built his own marketplace into this thing, which is inspiring in itself. But yeah.
It's another website you got to listen to. Like when you hover with the sound on over those, it's so pleasant. It's like,
They're little.
Yeah. He's so smart. It was one of, I saw it and I was like, ugh. I was in my own shit and I was like, this is so good. This is so smart. I need to have one. So I picked one up on secondary. Still don't fully understand it. But like you said, I think it's like a GAN running on its own smart contract that's kind of forever making these outputs. And there's people riffing on this. I think it's fun. Like Ripe, this project, some of the stuff that Did is doing, really innovative stuff. It's nice to see that stuff get you to collect, get me to, like, it's nice that that's the stuff that's kind of getting attention, I think, because it's so, it's so cool.
Well, I think there was this project, your project, and there was like one other one I forget that happened recently.
Did
Did as well. Like a lot of these self-contained off-platform releases are kind of showing what I see as maybe the next evolution, because a lot of the platforms are sadly going away.
It's not just the platforms are limiting, right? Like even for flowers, and none of us would have gotten this far if it weren't for any of these platforms. But like flowers, you need to refresh the image on a lot of platforms to see the updated iteration. Not everyone's pinging an API call every half a second or looking at showing GANs and stuff generated in real time. So I think there is something to that. And with the lift of AI and stuff, like you can do it yourself. And that's never been the case, right? You know, which is cool. But yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, this project was.
I'm gonna pivot to the last one here. A piece I don't own but think is really cool from an artist who I think is really awesome. 009.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is I think it's still available at the Heft Gallery, and I saw this one in person during NFT NYC last year. Printed out, you know, you can always just appreciate so many more details when you can sit with the work physically, whether it's a print or on a screen that, like, you know, is actually in your space and large. And this is gorgeous, and they do a lot of work with some, you know, patterns and you know, looks simulated clothing, and just, you know, this looks like a landscape, but if you can get
so
it
like
on
textile, like
it's all textiles.
Yeah.
Come on, there we go. Is this working? Did that even? How come?
It seems to be stuck.
Cool.
Maybe if you press that button that brings it into a new window.
Perhaps enter full screen. There we go. It's still stuck,
but you can see it. It's,
you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, their aesthetic is so iconic already. Like, you just know it immediately.
That's cool, right? Because he's shifted between subject matters, but he's kind of kept this thing going, and like you can see that it's I call him 009. I don't know if that's but you can always see it and identify it. It's really cool.
Yeah, even without zooming in, like the color schemes and there's an aesthetic that just reads immediately, and it's look at that. This
one actually feels like more of the realness than a lot of the other stuff. I feel like a lot of the other stuff is even more lean to that kind of the textile stitching stuff.
I saw some like street scenes on the timeline the past week or two that were more
those are nice.
You know how I see that work in my head, and this is the most annoying thing. He's doing it so perfect, but like, you know, like these like quilted paintings, like where you can see someone. I'm like, dude, you gotta get one of these like quilted out for real. Imagine it. It's like they all have kind of templates for that in a way that I think would be so sick. That's at least how I imagine it, you know, and that's cool. It's like something you can touch on the timeline. Like, it feels that way.
Yeah.
Also, can I Heft plug real quick? Like,
please.
I've had the
Heft is great.
Super cool. I know they have a circle thing minting right now. It's worth checking out.
Shout out Token Works, Funding Works.
Shout out Heft.
Yeah,
it's a great gallery.
Adam at Heft, Adam Rhinotic, it's kind of a.
I have a theory, and that it is everybody in Web3 is secretly actually named Adam.
Yeah, or Adam Levine. You and the Toledo guy, same name.
We do. The space is run by Adam,
and there's no other Adam Levines out there other than the two of you.
No, it's just us. I'm definitely not in a Facebook group of only Adam Levines. That's not a thing I'm definitely not in. Amazing guys. Okay, I love it. Just soft sculpture is where my mind goes when I see their work.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Well, that is, you know, coming up on time, but like, man, that was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for doing this. I usually ask if anyone's got anything to plug, and so, you know, I will say, you know, I'm guessing it's observations, but you know, tell us, you know, what you're looking at in the, you know, down the road in the horizon, what you want to talk about.
I'm looking at these observations. It's incredible to me. I feel like it's the coolest thing. It's someone spending their time in the work, and again, making it so Bryan's bird goes to Blondie's sanctuary, and it's very much this intention to get on this website and sign these and observe these birds. And I see that, and it means so much to me. And so I'm kind of focused there and thinking on how to kind of expand that. But we have a lot of the story to tell still. So I'd look, you know, for updates on the app. We had some really great requests, and then kind of thinking about how to get other people bird watching. I do think that it's a fun way to interact with Ethereum and start a collection. And so headed that direction, but only because everybody's supported and gotten us this far. So, you know, observing. I think observing the presence of a bird is the most important. That's what I want to shill. Spend some time with birds, observe the presence of a bird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is like, again, so fun. Yeah, you guys do like this stuff is the pulse of our community in such a big way. These spaces, Steven's space, RD space. Yeah, I know it's a ton of work. Appreciate you guys doing it. Yeah,
it's a labor of love though. Like we love doing it. We love what all those other guys you just talked about, what they do. You know, obviously we're trying to do something a little bit different so that it's not just, you know, how did you learn about NFTs? Like we love the process. We love the, you know, thank you for going under the hood with us and really
we like to learn.
We do. We're students in this whole thing and we like to share. So thank you, dude. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode, man. But I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank everybody else for tuning in, whether you're, you know, watching live or doing your laundry. We appreciate all of you. Yeah, I guess we'll just we'll sign off there. We'll catch you guys in the next one, and remember to keep art first. All right,
Take
care, everybody.